Hello, I'm Paul from Mode 7, and with me as ever is James from Ground Shatter, who is the creator and designer of Fights in Tight Spaces. Say hello, James.
Hello, everybody.
Today we're going to be talking about the combo system, which is a new addition to the game and something that people who have played the demo or seen existing trailers and things like that won't have seen yet. Something that adds quite a lot to the game. So, James, if you could just explain what the combo system is, that would probably be a good start.
Okay, yeah, so the combo system, essentially, we've added a system whereby if you play a series of consecutive attacks, that will build up your combo meter, much as you might do in a fighting game. So whenever you do a normal attack, then that will just increase your combo level. And then we have another set of cards, which are effectively kind of gated by your combo level. So you can then play a big finishing move potentially at the end of a combo, or stack up other different sorts of moves that you wouldn't otherwise be able to play unless you'd done a series of attacks before them. The way you lose combo is if you do kind of standard moves, or as in play a standard movement card, that will then drop your combo back to zero and you'll have to start again. And by doing this, we've kind of the point was to encourage one way of playing, which is kind of to get yourself into a position and then unleash a series of attacks in a row, just to give it that bit more of an attacking feel. Whereas in earlier versions of the game, sometimes it was too easy to move around and throw occasional punches. Whereas actually, what we wanted to do was really empower the player to go on the front foot and be a really kind of attacking option.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on it a bit there. We talked for a while before about sort of adding depth to the game. We kind of had a very positional, tactical layer, and then more of a deck building layer, and then your sort of first move in that direction to kind of increase possibility space was to go to combo. What kind of made you go that way? Was it a fighting game influence, or was it something that you'd kind of had in the back of your mind already, or how did you get to that new system?
The kind of thematic elements of it definitely helped, and it was something that I'd kind of been considering from the start. And I think in early versions of the game, it was a little bit more built in. So the momentum and the energy that you have in the game for playing cards, which we still have as a system, was originally it was built up as you played other cards, and then you would diminish it by playing certain moves. But that was really ended up being really prescriptive in terms of how you played. So what the combo system does is it brings back that kind of style of play, but as a different layer in the kind of the set of choices that you have. So it means you can continue to play in kind of the original way of playing, and take your chances with moving around and taking pot shots, but also with the new system, it gives you an additional way of playing, which is can potentially be much more powerful.
So let's talk a bit about some of the things the player can actually do once they've built up combo. So, for example, there are two cards that I end up taking a lot, which are the left and right turning kicks that reposition your opponent. But there's some other ones as well, some sort of big, heavy hitting cards as well.
Yeah, so what we've done is we've taken some of the existing attack cards and we've made them, rather than cards that you spend energy on, ones that you have to have achieved a level of combo to be able to pull off. So, for example, those left and right turning kicks are very powerful cards within the game, because they knock the enemies from side to side as well as doing damage, and they are a little bit too overpowered when you could just play them at the start of the turn. But now with the combo system in place, it means that you have had to kind of earn in a way the right to play those cards, so that we can keep them as kind of fairly common elements of the game, and they're exciting and useful. But to an extent, you need to play towards that goal. So you need to think a little bit ahead in what you're doing in terms of your hand that turn, or your hand over a number of turns.
I think there's already... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the other way we use it is that the certain cards, their damage is increased depending on your combo level. So the head bash that we've had in for a while, where you smack someone against a wall or an edge, that is now increased in terms of how much combo you've already built up. So you can really use that as a kind of finishing move potentially.
Right, one of the things we talked about a lot was how to get the player to plan for future turns, and I think that's a really big step. If you're making a turn-based game, you have to think about not just is the current turn interesting, but how can I leverage the current turn against future turns, and sort of vice versa. When am I bringing forward my risk or sort of setting my risk back? And the idea that you can build up damage via combo, I think, really does help with that. Have you got any ideas for kind of how you want to broaden out the use of the combo system kind of as the game continues to develop? Are there any sort of things emerging from it now that you think are interesting?
Well, what's nice about it is it gives us a kind of another resource to play with that isn't that operates in a different way to the other resources. So combo maintains over between turns, and the only reason you'd lose it is by playing a card that would set it back to 0. So you can build it up over a number of turns. But then we can also play with things like converting combo into block, or converting combo into health or into damage modifier, and vice versa. So we now have ways if players can unleash a kind of barrage of attacks, build up their combo, and then turn that into block, and then they can be kind of powered up for a more defensive turn the next turn. So they've got it gives kind of the player lots of different options, but it gives me a designer lots of options in terms of being able to create interesting cards that kind of manipulate those values and the player's approach to them.
I think it's been a really positive change and sort of had a massive impact on the game, certainly in terms of, my enjoyment of playing the game, and we've seen that as well kind of in testing. Do you think there's any negative consequences of it that we might need to mitigate? I mean, one issue is it can make the player a bit static.
Yes, I think that it can do, but what we've done is it's allowed us to change the behavior slightly of the enemies as well. So there's a little bit more variety in how they approach the player. And previously, when your choices were mostly to move to the side and do pushes and do different attacks from kind of those different positions, what we've now got enemies that are sort of more aware of that being the way the player might play and react to that. So in a way, we encourage them to use different styles of play against different enemies.
All right, so just before we go, I think it might be a good idea to give everyone, particularly the community who've been following the game and people who might played the demo, just to give them an idea of roughly where we're at and kind of what we're looking at now in testing and how development's going to go from here.
Yeah, so we've sent out the build to a group of our kind of close Discord fans, and they've had a chance to play the game recently, and we're getting kind of directed feedback from them. So these are the people who've been with us for a long time, who've been very active on our Discord. So it's nice to be able to kind of reward them for their engagement with an early chance to play the game, and also they're the people who've been really kind of following how the game has progressed and all played the demo and those kinds of things. So their feedback's really valuable because they've got insights that we don't have, because they've only seen snapshots of it where we've kind of seen it continuously evolve. So something like the combo system, they will be looking at with fresh eyes, and they'll either find ways to abuse it or use it, and we can react to their kind of new play styles, and that gives us a load of extra data in order to do new things going towards kind of their next launch.
I think probably worth mentioning as well for those people in the community who are watching that we're looking to broaden that out as well. So we just started with just a few people to kind of help give us some direct feedback, but the rest of you will get a chance to kind of get in there as time goes on. But yeah, the support that we've had there has been absolutely brilliant. People sticking with the game and giving lots of intelligent feedback on the demo and really keen to see updates. So that's been really helpful. We're at the point now, I feel, with the game where a lot of the structure is there, and now it's really just about getting that deeper information about what's working, what isn't working, individual cards, individual enemies, levels, trying to get that refinement there. But it's good to have a game that's fun and interesting to play already, and other people seem to be experiencing that as well based on what I've seen so far. Yeah,
definitely. I think what we've got now is kind of compared to the demo, we've got the full structure of the game, and we've got the different missions with the different enemy types. So people who are managing to progress through in the alpha are seeing everything that we've got to offer for the first time, and kind of seeing the full intention for the game. So that's really exciting that people are kind of managing to get through and kind of tackle everything that we can throw at them.
Yeah, so just to say, if you're not in that community and you potentially would like a chance to have a look at the game before we kind of go to the next stage, then please do join the Discord. There'll be links around the place, of course. But yeah, James, I don't know if there's anything you want to add about kind of progress now or not.
No.
That wasn't a cryptic question. It was an open invitation. James has got nothing to say. He doesn't care. So
I'm being careful to avoid secret spoilers.
That's a good point. I'd like to declare this video fully petered out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.